the return of his confiscated mining rights, seized years ago. The man in dark suit pondered how mining rights had been omitted from the proposed compensations, a fact that slightly surprised Prince Yi Kang. In a tragic flashback, Prince Yi Kang recounted how his rightful mining claims, granted by his father, were brutally seized 5 years prior by Japanese collaborators. Prince Yi Kang, composed, conveyed his nuanced ambition to reclaim only the rights transferred to other nations, understanding that full restitution was impossible. The man in dark suit pledged to report his requests, but Prince Yi Kang's resolute no cut short his assumption of satisfaction. Prince Yi Kang declared the compensation utterly insufficient, his cold determination unwavering as his true objectives transcended mere personal gain. Prince Yi Kang then unveiled his next demand, a revision of the deeply unfair treaty clauses binding Korea to the Japanese government. A sepia-toned flashback illustrated the historical betrayal as Prince Yi Kang aimed to revoke the clause forcing Korea to provide free land for Japanese railways. The man in dark suit accepted the proposal, but Prince Yi Kang added a crucial, firm directive: Britain must remove Geomundo and Jeju from any lease discussions. The very air crackled with the looming shadow of global war, underscoring the perilous folly of surrendering land to Britain, a prize that would surely be lost forever. The man in dark suit stumbled, his words mumbling into hesitation, but Prince Yi Kang's voice rang with iron resolve: he would reject any arbitration if Britain sought Korean territory. The sheer audacity of Prince Yi Kang's ultimatum left the man in dark suit utterly stunned. A cold gulp confirmed the man in dark suit's dawning realization: Prince Yi Kang was not testing, he was deadly serious. Reassuring, the man in dark suit promised to deliver Prince Yi Kang's resolve to Downing Street, earning a quiet nod of trust. As footsteps echoed, the man in dark suit offered a warm, pointed observation: the Japanese proposal would satisfy neither Korea nor America, prompting the prince to seek the true conditions for contentment. With a knowing smile, the man in dark suit hinted at a common, universally satisfying interest, sparking an immediate, intrigued realization in Prince Yi Kang. Both men, deep in introspective thought, pondered the enigmatic issue that satisfies everyone. Then, with a sudden, electrifying jolt of realization, Prince Yi Kang named the railway negotiations, a truth confirmed by the man in dark suit's hearty, amused laugh. The man in dark suit gestured, signaling the timely arrival of the very figures Prince Yi Kang needed to engage, a confluence of power approaching with quiet authority. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. offered effusive congratulations on the wedding, praising its lavish spectacle to the man in dark suit. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. couldn't help but inquire about their hushed conversation, prompting Prince Yi Kang to playfully offer an intriguing tale. While eager for the prince's narrative, John Pierpont Morgan Jr. first posed a delightful question, which Prince Yi Kang readily agreed to answer. With stark accusation, Prince Yi Kang demanded to know why the Morgan family was voraciously swallowing up every Japanese national bond in the market. The narration revealed Japan's desperate sale of cheap bonds, funding its war efforts and tightening its insidious grip on the Korean Empire. Prince Yi Kang's voice, laced with menacing laughter, accused John Pierpont Morgan Jr. of betrayal, sternly warning him to choose his next words with utmost care. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. feigned a dramatic gasp, but Prince Yi Kang's retort implied he merely played dumb. Prince Yi Kang's sly smirk cut through the pretense, daring Morgan to deny his family's clear involvement, leaving Morgan to ponder his next calculated move. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. nervously feigned a vague recollection, dismissing it as unimportant, much to the skeptical man in dark suit's surprise. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. summoned Henry, as the man in dark suit quickly linked Prince Yi Kang's question to a report Henry had delivered earlier. Henry's initial confusion melted into a sudden "ah" of realization: they were discussing the Japanese national bonds. Henry, smiling with transparent confidence, claimed sole responsibility for the bond purchases, yet Prince Yi Kang saw clearly through the flimsy pretense, scoffing at their obvious charade. Henry, clutching coins, explained his profitable gamble on Japan's rumored bankruptcy, prompting Prince Yi Kang to skeptically question the logic of profiting from financial ruin. Henry, with a subtle glance, evasively attributed the profitability not to market sense, but to the rationality of powerful men. The grim truth emerged: these cheap bonds were perceived as golden eggs, meant to extort wealth from Korea and other colonies, even if Japan itself faced bankruptcy. Prince Yi Kang grasped his role as a mere pawn in Morgan's grand scheme, a cold assessment met only by John Pierpont Morgan Jr.'s smooth, indifferent IC. Reflecting on past assistance to Morgan Jr., Prince Yi Kang, now disillusioned, quietly dismissed his previous commitment to future aid. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. smoothly diverted the conversation back to Prince Yi Kang's story, who readily agreed. Prince Yi Kang playfully unveiled his topic: how deeply invested were they in railway companies, specifically the sprawling lines across Manchuria. The narration detailed the South Manchuria Railway's troubled history, from Russian construction to its flawed transfer to Japan, plagued by incompatible broad-gauge tracks. Meanwhile, the Qing dynasty, seeking to reclaim the railway from Japan, entrusted its standard-gauge expansion project to both the United States and Britain. This blatant challenge to Japan's rail control ignited fierce opposition, prompting the US and Britain to aggressively push for a neutralization plan. Pensive, the man in dark suit considered inevitable Russian pushback, advising caution against the seductive neutralization theory. When asked his railway plan, Prince Yi Kang confidently declared he would demand the South Manchuria Railway rights from Japan. John Pierpont Morgan Jr., with a wide, knowing smile and a snap of recognition, instantly grasped the immensely lucrative potential of Prince Yi Kang's railway leadership. With a conspiratorial smirk, Prince Yi Kang outlined his cunning plan: construct new lines exclusively within the ceded regions, keeping the profits tightly controlled. As a woman elegantly entered, asking about their fascinating stories, the narration noted Roosevelt's probable support, swayed by the undeniable lure of national profit. With a sweet, pleasant smile, the woman introduced herself as Ethel. Prince Yi Kang explained he shared a beneficial tale, and Ethel's intrigued inquiry about its subject marked the quiet conclusion of the wedding celebration. 3 months later, a man in brown suit erupted in fury at the Joseon Residency General, demanding the full extent of damage from the righteous army's latest silver mine robbery. His fist slammed, a resounding crash accompanying his retching disgust, as the man in brown suit raged at the righteous armies who blew up the mines and stole every ingot. The man in brown suit, enraged, clawed at the air, attributing the righteous army's newfound boldness and Japan's immense losses directly to Yi Kang, fearing his exploitation plans were unraveling. A quiet knock preceded the attendant's announcement of a palace visitor, whom the man in brown suit immediately recognized as the King Emeritus's surveillant. The official's startling report of King Gojong's defiance at court assemblies ignited a furious outburst from the man in brown suit, demanding why his orders were disregarded. The official explained King Gojong's defiance stemmed from his faith in Prince Yi Kang, unleashing a renewed, guttural roar of "Yi Kang again," from the enraged man in brown suit. The official suggested direct intervention, prompting a sigh from the man in brown suit, who then resolutely declared he would no longer ignore the king's defiance. With grim determination, the man in brown suit vowed to finally crush King Gojong's spirit, commanding to be led forth. The imposing Changdeokgung Palace, King Gojong's sanctuary, awaited his determined visit. Ito Hirobumi, the foreign minister, bowed with elaborate formality before the two majesties in the vibrant palace room. King Gojong's displeased voice demanded the reason for Ito Hirobumi's late-hour intrusion. Ito Hirobumi's ironic laugh punctuated his counter-question, which King Gojong noted as a thinly veiled jab. Ito Hirobumi, with a sly, cunning smile, claimed to merely advise a brightly smiling Crown Prince Sunjong. King Gojong's voice, a deep, rumbling force, corrected Ito's disrespect, challenging him directly: did he believe the King Emeritus denied his forced abdication? Ito Hirobumi, with that same sly, cunning smile, repeated his claim of simply advising Crown Prince Sunjong. With unyielding anger, King Gojong continued his powerful challenge, demanding if Ito truly thought he denied his own forced abdication. King Gojong's casual remark about the Crown Prince was sharply corrected by Ito Hirobumi, who, with an almost imperceptible rustle, challenged the king emeritus's acknowledgement of his abdication. A heavy silence fell, broken only by Ito Hirobumi kneeling before the king, an unspoken challenge hanging in the air. King Gojong offered a strained laugh, blaming age for his mistake, while Ito Hirobumi, through a thin smile, warned him to tread carefully in the palace's blood-splattered halls. A sharp click punctuated King Gojong's assent, but Ito Hirobumi, now identified as the resident general, then probed the true reason for his late-night summons and his unexpected presence at the morning assembly. Ito Hirobumi, enraged, lashed out, his words a furious torrent blaming himself for entrusting the position and condemning the country's swift decline, all while accusing Prince Yi Kang of meddling after only a few days. King Gojong sternly reminded Chiak of his earlier instructions, inwardly acknowledging Ito Hirobumi's growing frustration, which he believed stemmed directly from Prince Yi Kang's influence. His fist clenched in fury, Ito Hirobumi's mind screamed with a violent impulse, contemplating the swift, brutal solution to his growing problem, murder. But the thought quickly dissolved into a cold, strategic calculation for Ito Hirobumi, his sweating eyes narrowing as he realized the timing was wrong, not wanting to provoke Katsura after the failed assassination of Prince Yi Kang. King Gojong calmly requested that Ito Hirobumi care for Chiak, secretly hoping the crown prince's defiant spirit would vex every resident general to come. Ito Hirobumi bowed with a faint, dismissive smile, agreeing to the king's request while internally vowing to avoid any personal risk on the upcoming royal tour. Their polite farewells were laced with venom, each smiling figure privately wishing the other a fatal journey while feigning concern for their well-being. A tumultuous wave of cheers erupted, echoing through the festive streets, but from his balcony, Prince Yi Kang watched the spectacle unfold, his mind quietly questioning the true nature of the celebration. Li Wanyong, riding by, furrowed his brow with worry, asking why the crown prince had not once graced the royal tour with a smile. Ito Hirobumi, his finger pointed with stern resolve, warned Prince Yi Kang against smiling, fearing the people would mistakenly interpret it as a sign of his aid to Joseon. Prince Yi Kang's frustration erupted in a furious shout, demanding silence from the one who dared to smile at such a moment. Ito Hirobumi realized King Gojong had orchestrated Prince Yi Kang's uncooperative demeanor, acknowledging that once the crown prince grew stubborn, there was no turning him around. Hushed whispers rippled through the shadowed crowd, their voices laced with concern over the emperor's perpetual frown, blaming both the Japanese and their own treacherous countrymen. Ito Hirobumi's mind raced, agonizing over the royal tour's tarnished image and the impossible choice between canceling it and risking wider rumors, resolving instead to salvage the atmosphere before moving on. Ito Hirobumi, with an unsettling smile, suggested Prince Yi Kang was simply tired and should retreat to the train, leaving the crown prince utterly bewildered by the sudden change of plans. Ito Hirobumi sharply ordered Li Wanyong to cease his actions, asserting that he appeared to be coercing the emperor, leaving Li Wanyong startled and obediently agreeing. Ito Hirobumi resolved to somehow persuade the emperor on the train, ensuring a beaming smile at their next destination. At Daegu Central Station, a young newsboy loudly scattered extras across the bustling platform, catching the eye of passing men in suits. A rustling sound accompanied questions about the scattered papers, as a voice offered to retrieve one for the resident general. One of Ito Hirobumi's men smoothly distributed the papers to others who eagerly reached out for them. The flyers declared a chilling prophecy of judgment upon Joseon's traitors, and Ito Hirobumi's face contorted in a furious roar, demanding to know the author of such incendiary words. Ito Hirobumi furiously commanded the arrest of the newsboy and anyone who touched the treasonous flyers, instantly recognizing Prince Yi Kang's cunning scheme to warn Joseon officials against Japanese cooperation. And in his mind, he saw the violent, chaotic retaliation that would surely follow, a bloody promise of vengeance for past attacks. With a frustrated sigh, Ito Hirobumi ordered an immediate abandonment of the royal tour in the region, knowing the pervasive flyers meant no welcome awaited them, and Li Wanyong swiftly complied. Prince Yi Kang's joyful laughter echoed, a triumphant burst of mirth as he savored the success of his audacious plan. Ito Hirabumi's face tightened, a grim realization settling in that the rest of the royal tour would be anything but smooth, thanks to Prince Yi Kang's effective defiance. A boisterous roar of welcome greeted the royal tour in Wanghedu, the vibrant crowd enthusiastically cheering for both the emperor and a waving Ito Hirabumi, though Prince Yi Kang remained visibly displeased. Ito Hirabumi, despite his wave, furrowed his brow in confusion, pondering why this historically bustling region, rich in foreign exchange, would offer such an enthusiastic welcome. An ominous thud echoed in Ito Hirabumi's mind as he scanned the crowd, convinced that among the many capitalists and Prince Yi Kang's fervent supporters, an assassin could easily emerge to end his life. Ito Hirabumi, finding the situation utterly bizarre, quietly commanded a subordinate to bring someone from the crowd, hoping to unravel the mystery of this unexpected welcome. In the lavish room, a man in a dark suit sternly demanded a repetition of the statement, indicating the weighty nature of the discussion. A smiling subject from Pyongyang effusively praised Ito Hirabumi as King Yui's savior, prompting an off-panel Ito to inwardly scoff, wishing such false accolades would instead vex Katsura. Ito Hirabumi recoiled, his teeth gritted in a furious expression of sheer disgust at the appalling charade unfolding before him. Two military officers whispered with sly smiles, noting the Joseon subject's unexpected friendliness and connecting it to Prime Minister Katsura's earlier orders for surveillance. Red strings of fate seemed to ensnare Ito Hirabumi as he realized this elaborate charade was Prince Yi Kang's cunning plot, designed to sabotage his reputation in Japan, already reeling from the South Manchuria Railway controversy. Mocking laughter from the officers regarding his popularity sent shivers down Ito Hirabumi's spine, as he realized they were deliberately cultivating hostility to politically strangle him. Ito Hirabumi, a dark smirk twisting his lips, hissed at his adversaries, branding them as utter fools. A military officer stiffened, his voice laced with challenge as he demanded to know what had just been said. Ito Hirabumi passionately explained the intricate scheme. Both overt threats and fabricated praises were meticulously crafted to drive a wedge between them, prompting the military officer to demand the identity of the instigator. Ito Hirabumi's furious shout revealed the mastermind, Prince Yi Kang, as he then accused the startled officer of signing a pact that allowed his name to be dragged into such treacherous affairs. Ito Hirabumi sank into a chair, consumed by worry that his superiors would dismiss his claims, recognizing his dwindling influence, and resolved to halt the fruitless tour and directly confront both Katsura and Prince Yi Kang. The scene shifted to the grand, peaceful facade of Prince Yi Kang's stately residence in San Francisco. Following his wedding, compensation matters swiftly advanced, spurred by Morgan's urgent desire for the South Manchuria Railway, as Prince Yi Kang confirmed the smooth funding of his trust company, noting the refreshing efficiency without Henry P. Davison present. Prince Yi Kang, from his desk, inquired if any further business remained, only for a subordinate to present him with a mysterious document from the White House, delivered on Morgan's behalf. A heavy thud accompanied an off-panel voice's surprised query about the sudden appearance of a White House document. Prince Yi Kang, his face alight with satisfaction, recognized the document as concerning mining rights from Japan, then calmly dismissed his subordinate. A chibi Prince Yi Kang, utterly bewildered by the document's intricate details, snapped his fingers with a click as he realized he knew just the person to consult. A few days later, Prince Yi Kang met with Gold King Jack Milo, directly asking if the complex mining data before them pertained entirely to the Korean Empire's land. Prince Yi Kang candidly admitted his confusion regarding the data, seeking Jack Milo's expertise, to which the Gold King winked with triumphant flair, promising to reveal only the most lucrative parts. With a decisive gesture, Jack Milo pointed to the documents, advising the mining of two specific sites, prompting Prince Yi Kang to immediately inquire about his reasoning. Jack Milo explained their unparalleled profitability, revealing one to be the Unsan gold mine where Prince Yi Kang, 3 years prior, had strategically acquired a 5% stake during Jack's financial struggles. Jack Milo began to elaborate on other viable mines when a soft rustling preceded Choi Hyunwoo's voice, requesting entry for an urgent matter. A door burst open, and Choi Hyunwoo, visibly agitated, quickly apologized for the urgent interruption, acknowledging Jack Milo's surprise at his sudden appearance during the meeting. Choi Hyun-woo reported the sudden arrival of Lee Wai-jong, leaving Jack Milo to wonder internally about the grave nature of such an unannounced visit. Choi Hyun-woo delivered grave intelligence. Katsura's position was precarious, Seonji was maneuvering, and consequently, Ito Hirobumi was expected to return to Japan earlier than planned. Jack Milo sighed, lamenting that Katsura and Ito Hirobumi were not destroying each other, for he recognized the bold raccoon Ito as a far more formidable opponent. The vision of Ito Hirobumi seizing power in Japan sent a cold dread through Jack Milo, as he knew it would spell doom for both the Korean Empire and his own ambitions. From his window, Jack Milo declared that the moment for a critical decision had finally arrived. Jack Milo, with grim resolve, dispatched an agent to Mexico, stating that he would now resort to his most extreme and definitive measure. A deep exhalation settled in Prince Yi Kang's mind. Prince Yi Kang declared the time had come for their ultimate measure, dispatching Lee Wai-jong to Mexico, which prompted instant bewilderment. His conviction resonated with the stark truth: they were vital. Lee Wai-jong confirmed his swift departure for Tijuana, his pen moving decisively, earning Prince Yi Kang's steadfast trust. His gaze drifted outward, contemplating the growth of those he relied upon. On the training ground, the Academy's cadet numbers swelled past triple digits, their collective might echoing with sharp, percussive commands. Within the dim, focused light, some honed their outstanding skills to a fine edge. Others found unity as comrades, their purpose sharpened by the prince's dispatches. And some convened in shadowed rooms, where fortunes and fates were quietly decided. From within, a furious tirade erupted over an article, met only by the mocking burst of laughter. Lee Jae-myung, executive of the Korean Patriotic Corps, seethed over the manipulative press, his rage erupting over their failed assassination attempt. John Myung-gun, another executive, calmly offered a sobering assessment: their plan would have failed. Lee Jae-myung demanded a reason, to which John Myung-gun pointed to the newspaper, revealing Ito's unwavering proximity to the king, making their plan impossible. John Myung-gun's thoughts flickered to the past, recognizing how their initial plan would have imperiled the king and yielded only empty hands. Lee Jae-myung pressed, challenging John Myung-gun's skills, who then conceded his lack of marksmanship with a quiet acceptance. A frustrated sigh escaped Lee Jae-myung. How much longer would they merely train, and had the king forgotten them? John Myung-gun rebuked his impatience, but Lee Jae-myung defended his anxiety, citing the king's prolonged silence regarding new missions. Lee Jae-myung cast doubt on the king's true commitment to independence, a silent observer registering his raw, palpable anxiety. Lee Wai-jong silently noted their misjudgment: they hadn't witnessed the king's deep, unspoken burdens for his people, unlike the vibrant public he championed. Two men meticulously planned routes, considering every exit, their focused work interrupted by a soft knock and the creak of an opening door. A smiling man entered, the latch clicking softly as he announced President Kim's awaited guests. Surprise registered instantly: who could these unexpected visitors possibly be? Lee Wai-jong offered a polite, knowing smile to his comrades. Extreme shock registered across their faces, a sudden jolt of recognition. The man deduced the king's true presence, a theory swiftly confirmed by Lee Wai-jong's smile. A few days later, they arrived at Prince Yi Kang's grand San Francisco hideout, bathed in warm, golden light, their journey complete. With a deep, respectful bow, they acknowledged Prince Yi Kang's presence. Prince Yi Kang warmly greeted them, receiving affirmations of their diligent training and well-being, all thanks to his unwavering support. Relieved by their progress, Prince Yi Kang urged continued training, hinting at the monumental order he was about to deliver. Their expressions tightened in surprise, anticipating the gravity of his next words. With a dramatic gesture, Prince Yi Kang unveiled the ultimate directive: the long-desired assassination of Ito. The illuminated model revealed Harbin, one of Ito's next vital destinations, as their target. Prince Yi Kang revealed Ito's journey to Harbin was to untangle Manchurian railway rights, a complex web he himself had woven. A sudden gasp escaped them as the full weight of Harbin's significance struck. Prince Yi Kang announced a crucial item, a provision for their grand undertaking, sparking their immediate surprise and curiosity. He declared he could not send them into danger without taking responsibility, so he provided a safeguard. He extended a plain dark notebook, a contingency for the mission's failure. A perplexed query arose as they examined the unassuming notebooks. A thunderous impact struck them, a chilling license to kill. The notebook held Prince Yi Kang's signed mandate, taking full responsibility for any execution of traitors, a symbolic and solemn vow. A powerful surge of emotion welled within him. The prince wasn't just sending them, but offering his own life as collateral, a truly profound sacrifice. He clutched the notebook tightly, vowing to uphold the command and, above all, to survive. One man respectfully sought clarification, inquiring about the mysterious numbers hidden within the documents. A paper quickly appeared, bearing the designation of Number 1. Prince Yi Kang explained the numbers represented future agents, offering them a choice, a powerful invitation to claim their unique roles. With chilling resolve, he chose 44, a number laden with the promise of death for his enemies. Prince Yi Kang admired such incredible resolve, recognizing the historical echo of this formidable spirit. The other chose 9, hoping for survival, like a cat with 9 lives, a pragmatic contrast. He yearned to survive and witness true independence, sparking Prince Yi Kang's realization of this man's future legendary identity. His appreciative smile promised their unwavering spirit would be recorded forever. Prince Yi Kang offered them a solemn farewell, wishing them good fortune on their perilous journey. The train chugged along, carrying a newly demoted Ito Hirobumi to Harbin for the crucial Russo-Japanese negotiations. A worried subordinate questioned Ito's emaciated appearance, which he weakly blamed on the long, exhausting journey. Ito's emaciation stemmed from profound anxiety and nightmares, vivid visions of Korean assassins plaguing his every night since the ominous flyer. He slumped down, burdened by fear, resolving to avoid the mainland once this ordeal concluded. Ito inquired about the security sweep, his subordinate confidently confirming every foreigner near Harbin station had been inspected. Despite the assurances, Ito anxiously demanded a rigorous triple check, specifically targeting Koreans, his fear palpable. A short while later, Harbin station buzzed with a steamy, chattering crowd, awaiting the incoming train. Ito released a self-satisfied sigh. Surely, in such a crowd, Prince Yi Kang dared not act. The military man announced his destination, prompting Ito's ready assent. Stepping onto the platform, Ito was met by a clamoring crowd and flashing cameras. The shouted name shattered Ito's composure, dread washing over him with a sudden, icy realization. The chilling click of a cocked weapon confirmed his deepest, most terrifying fears. Pandemonium erupted as the crowd scattered, their cries mingling with the echoing shots that painted the platform crimson. A brutal flurry of shots, tore through Ito Hirobumi, his terror a gaping wound as his world tilted into a crimson void. Pandemonium fractured the air, as Ito lay broken, his assassins melting into the chaos while frantic officers scrambled, their orders lost in the screaming. Through the drifting smoke, the two figures remained unwavering, one a lethal instrument, the other a silent witness, their resolve burning cold. Before the storm, the Harbin station stood serene, an ordinary hub beneath an indifferent sky. At the station's gate, a Japanese escort officer, stern and unyielding, barred their path, demanding papers with official apathy. Tension hung thick as hands, a touch too eager, offered up their clandestine documents for inspection. The escort officer, scrutinizing the presented papers, registered the names of Kim Gu and Thomason, both purportedly American citizens. The officer's sharp inquiry about their purpose at Harbin Station was met with a practiced, slightly nervous, assertion of coverage. With a confident flourish, the man with glasses declared their press credentials, ready to face any doubt with their manufactured legitimacy. A low murmur rippled through the station, signaling Ito's imminent arrival, and the escort officer's composure fractured into surprise. With a quiet, deferential request, the man with glasses secured passage, the officer's permission a small victory amidst the impending maelstrom. The two men exchanged hushed words of gratitude, acknowledging the indispensable, forged identities provided by King Ui. As the train hissed its arrival, ***, a strategic plan solidified, dictating their movement to the rear, a carefully chosen vantage point. The platform surged with shouts as Ito emerged, triggering a chaotic rush that the escort officers desperately tried to contain. From a discreet distance, the two men observed the swelling crowd, their focus razor-sharp amidst the growing clamor. Beneath the looming metal overpass, they pinpointed their strategic hideout, a perfect ambush point offering escape after the deed. The man in the dark hat tasked his companion with the camera, a silent agreement passing between them as the weight of the moment settled. With a subtle urgency, the man with glasses pointed out the crucial vulnerability, a sudden, unexpected gap in Ito's protective detail. A tense nod confirmed the opening, and the man in the dark hat's hand, ***, slipped inside his coat, seeking the cold steel within. The time had come, a brutal crescendo of fate as the assassin squared his aim, shattering Ito's surprised calm into stark terror. A Japanese escort officer gasped in sudden realization, illuminated by the shock of the unexpected. Ito Hirobumi recoiled in horror, ***, his voice a desperate, fear-choked plea against the unfolding nightmare. His desperate "why" was met by the cruel glint of a pistol, aimed directly at him by a distraught Japanese escort officer. With two sharp reports, ***, both the escort officer, condemning Ito as a traitor, and the man in the dark hat delivered their fatal judgments. Shot and screaming, Ito Hirobumi plunged into a brutal, crimson abyss, his lifeblood spraying across the platform. As Ito lay broken and bleeding within the train car, a silent grimness settled over the scene, an unsettling finality. On October 26, 1909, Ito Hirobumi lay motionless, his wide, lifeless eyes reflecting the cruel end of his journey. The two men, and Jungian among them, let out a collective sigh of tense relief, ***, his bullet finding its mark, piercing Ito's heart. The man with glasses urged a swift departure, and his companion readily agreed, eager to vanish into the lingering chaos. That singular shot, echoing through history, ignited a defiant flame of Korean resistance, a shimmering beacon toward their arduous fight for independence. Two champagne flutes chimed, ***, a bright, joyful sound marking the triumph. Prince Yi Kang, his smile radiant, raised his glass high, toasting with fervent hope to our future. Their voices rang out in unison, a celebratory chorus pledging, for our future, as glasses clinked in shared triumph. Prince Yi Kang gently set his glass down, his joy palpable not for the success, but for their safe return. His warm, appreciative pats on their shoulders, ***, deeply moved the two men, their smiles reflecting profound gratitude. The man with glasses, beaming, credited Prince Yi Kang's meticulous planning, marveling at the arrival of the promised moment. Prince Yi Kang had explained it all, illustrating the strategic ambush with the precision of a master tactician, down to Ito's escort patterns. The man with glasses pondered, ***, his brow furrowed in doubt, questioning the feasibility of such a distant sniper shot. The man in the dark suit announced an additional preparation, sparking a puzzled inquiry from the man with glasses amidst the soft footsteps, ***. He introduced the calm figure of Wudong Li Ho-yang, who had brought a special gift, prompting respectful bows from the others. Li Ho-yang, smiling warmly, dismissed the formalities, asserting their unity as comrades in a shared, profound cause, all while aiding Yi Kang's weapon manufacturing. With a deliberate click, ***, Li Ho-yang revealed his contribution, a curious firearm that piqued the man in light suit's immediate question. A specially crafted pistol, unlike any rifle, lay nestled in its case, its unique design an immediate curiosity. The man in dark suit questioned the weapon's unusual attachments, which Li Ho-yang explained as a suppressor and a scope, designed from Prince Yi Kang's own blueprints. The man in dark suit cautioned against failure, emphasizing the weapon's ability to blend into the chaos, a subtle promise of unseen success. The man in light suit, deeply impressed, voiced his profound admiration for the operation, then respectfully sought permission to ask a burning question. The man in light shirt pressed for answers, his gaze intent as he wondered how the opportunity for the precise shot was foreseen. The man in dark suit revealed Prince Yi Kang's deeper involvement, stating he orchestrated the very opportunity, much to the man in light suit's astonishment. He recounted Prince Yi Kang's cunning strategy, the calculated leaking of distorted information in Japan, fostering suspicion against Ito, and thereby engineering his downfall. The man in light suit, overwhelmed by the ingenious plot, voiced his disbelief, which Lee Ho-young humbly brushed aside as inconsequential. With a proud, radiant smile, the man in dark suit credited their courage above all else, affirming that the operation's success was entirely theirs. He extended his heartfelt gratitude to all who had braved the immense risks, acknowledging their invaluable, clandestine contributions. In the grim, unaltered annals of history, General Jung-geon succeeded in assassinating Ito, yet his close-range pistol led to immediate capture and an unjust execution. Prince Yi Kang, now lost in thought, wondered if his knowledge had truly rewritten history, granting in a reprieve and perhaps, a genuine independence for their homeland. A somber warning broke the reverie. This triumph was merely a prelude, for internal enemies still lurked, threatening their nascent victory. Prince Yi Kang's thoughts turned cold and resolute, his next objective clear, the ruthless eradication of all pro-Japanese factions who had betrayed their nation. With unwavering resolve, the three men pledged their allegiance, their hands over their hearts, ready to execute Prince Yi Kang's formidable will. A soft knocking, announced Lee Wai-jong, and Prince Yi Kang, from his lamplit desk, granted him entry with a gentle. Prince Yi Kang, walking with purpose, announced an additional, crucial preparation, catching the man with glasses off guard. He introduced Wudong Lee Ho-young, who had arrived bearing a significant gift, prompting respectful greetings from the attentive men. Lee Ho-young, with a warm chuckle, humbly dismissed all formalities, reminding them of their shared cause, as his secret role in weapon manufacturing was revealed. With a precise click, Lee Ho-young dramatically revealed the case's contents, prompting a curious inquiry about the firearm from the man with glasses. A uniquely crafted handgun, equipped with a suppressor, lay in its cushioned case, its distinct design intriguing the onlookers. Lee Ho-young, gesturing thoughtfully, explained the suppressor and scope, innovative designs based on Prince Yi Kang's blueprints, engineered for stealth and accuracy. With a knowing smirk, Prince Yi Kang explained the suppressor's advantage, instructing them to leverage the surrounding chaos to ensure an undetected, successful shot. The man in dark suit expressed profound gratitude for their provided identities, then, deeply moved, respectfully sought answers to his lingering curiosity. The man, his glass still in hand, articulated his profound question, eager to understand how the precise timing for the assassination was ever predicted. The man in dark suit, with a smooth smile, revealed the orchestration came directly from Prince Yi Kang, eliciting a sharp gasp of surprise from the questioner. He meticulously detailed Prince Yi Kang's complex scheme, the calculated dissemination of false information through Kyunga agents, designed to foment suspicion against Ito and ultimately ensure his assassination. The woman's abrupt demand shattered the quiet, plunging Prince Yi Kang into bewildered panic. His mind raced, desperately searching for the misstep that had clouded her expression. His frantic thoughts spiraled into pure, unadulterated panic, convinced his neglect had finally caught up to him. Prince Yi Kang stammered in confusion, baffled by her reiteration of an unexpected congratulation. With a radiant sangyut, she delivered the joyous, life-altering pronouncement, he was to be a father. The world abruptly narrowed to a pinpoint of pure, disbelieving shock. Her joy quickly morphed into a growing, uneasy worry at his profound, unexpected silence. Then, with a sudden, whack of pure elation, he swept her into an exhilarating, luminous embrace. His joyous disbelief gave way to tender confirmation as she revealed their little secret had been growing for 3 months. His kanjak surprise quickly melted into a deep, protective concern for her well-being. His worries about her startle were gently brushed aside by her calming words and the spark of shared happiness. Their grateful hearts, resonating with a loving warang, marked the serene conclusion of a truly fantastic day. Days later, amidst the clear, bright formality of his farewell party, John Pierpont Morgan Jr. voiced his surprise at the news. Prince Yi Kang offered a polite apology for the modest affair, which John Pierpont Morgan Jr. accepted with reassuring grace. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. beamed, flattered by the exclusive confidence, while Prince Yi Kang slyly plotted to exploit his blossoming misunderstanding. As congratulations flowed, Prince Yi Kang, with a Hyung and a Sengyut, chose to let the convenient delusion linger for strategic advantage. Prince Yi Kang, ever so politely, posed a delicate request to the slightly surprised John Pierpont Morgan Jr. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. declared his boundless eagerness, a reaction Prince Yi Kang noted with a satisfied bang. Prince Yi Kang unveiled his ambition to transform his military academy into a private company, prompting John Pierpont Morgan Jr. to consider crucial military connections. Upon inquiry, John Pierpont Morgan Jr. confidently asserted his unparalleled ability to secure any desired military connection. As a plate daljaraked onto the table, Prince Yi Kang casually inquired about General Dewey. John Pierpont Morgan Jr.'s composure shattered with a payak of utter, astonished disbelief. Prince Yi Kang instantly recognized the formidable Admiral George Dewey, a legend whose 50-year military career had spanned oceans and wars. Despite impending retirement, Admiral George Dewey remained the unparalleled, 6-star heavyweight of immense influence within the U.S. military. He envisioned a triumphant handshake, knowing this singular connection would prove invaluable for future lobbying. John Pierpont Morgan Jr. with casual familiarity, making Prince Yi Kang acha. In dismay at his own transparent desire. With a confident haha, John Pierpont Morgan Jr. assured him a comprehensive list, extending far beyond naval connections, was forthcoming. Prince Yi Kang cordially entrusted the task, while John Pierpont Morgan Jr. silently mused on the list's potential expansion to include army generals. The mansion settled into the quiet daljarak of a passing night. His soft Jiabiking footsteps carried him to her side, questioning her quiet, moonlit contemplation. Her voice carried a kamjak accusation of his oversight, revealing her family's substantial, untapped military influence. He suddenly understood her earlier gloom, offering a sincere apology for his surprising oversight. Ethel confidently detailed her family's far-reaching military ties, drawing a delighted teal-sack of approval from Prince Yi Kang. He sought her family's connections to the Ordnance Department, a request she met with an eager peak of agreement. His sincere, unprompted gratitude brought a flicker of surprise to Ethel's thoughtful face. Ethel confessed his constant capacity for surprise, prompting his genuine curiosity. Her radiant praise for his modern gratitude, though outwardly cherished, privately irked the prince's antiquated pride. He mused on the undeniable influence of societal norms, prompting a curious jick of an inquiry from Ethel. His heartfelt gratitude invited her to voice any hidden desire, and she began, with a hesitant sujup. With a mayak of apprehension, she wondered if her peculiar request would meet his disapproval. Her whispered desire was simple yet startling, she wanted to raise a puppy. Prince Yi Kang recalled her past companion, a cherished pet she had nurtured since childhood. He pondered why her beloved companion was not with them. Her quiet explanation stemmed from a prior assumption of his disinterest, perplexing him. She gently clarified his past apathy toward dogs, prompting Prince Yi Kang to genuinely question his own recollection. She wistfully realized a deeper emotional connection had been missing despite her best intentions. His gentle jup against her hand acknowledged his past, oblivious nervousness. He proposed a shared delight, raising a puppy to accompany their child, igniting her excited surprise. With bright enthusiasm, she proposed a Korean imperial dog, eager to discover their royal breed. A beijijuk of bewilderment crossed his face, finding no royal canine records in Joseon's annals. A flustered Tang Huang, he confessed the Korean Empire possessed no designated royal dog, only King Sukjong's long-ago feline companion, Gumdeok. She mused with Gungiam wonder at this historical omission. With a bright pock, she boldly proposed he simply create a new royal dog. An EUA of disbelief escaped him as she confidently laid out her ingenious plan for a truly imperial canine. Her enthusiastic Beol Tiok ignited an unexpected jack of ambition within him, fueling a surge of power and honor. His thoughtful contemplation confirmed it, her wild idea was, in fact, absolutely brilliant. European royalty, exemplified by King Edward VII and his 7 dogs, held a fervent devotion to their canine companions. Presenting matching royal dogs to European monarchs could secure immense favor with surprisingly low expenditure. With a confident Singoit and a baiyak of decision, he vowed to immediately seek out native breeds fit for royalty. Her joyous warang echoed through the room as she gratefully embraced him. Her subtle hope for national reclamation, cloaked in tenderness, stirred a genuine, confused inquiry from him. She mused on the unsettling possibility of erased national heritage, a truth starkly evident in native plant names dominated by Japanese scholars. Holding a botanical text, Prince Yi Kang realized the urgent imperative to reclaim every stolen vestige of his nation's identity. Embracing his goddess of luck, Prince Yi Kang recognized her vital insight, and swiftly ordered the search for royal native dogs. A few days later, a cheerful Kaya greeted an adorable quartet of native Korean puppies. Ethel, Byung-jun with curiosity, cradled a distinctive puppy, learning its unique name, Nenenbeji. Choi Hyunwoo detailed the Nenenbeji's distinctive, eye-like markings and sacred symbolism, prompting Ethel's appreciative agia at its lovely name and meaning. With a joyful haha, Ethel decisively declared the Nenenbeji would be their inaugural royal dog. Amidst a celebratory cascade of petals, the Korean Empire's very first royal dog was born. A tantalizing preview hinted at Prince Yi Kang's next endeavor, introducing Goryeo red ginseng to the British royal family. Prince Yi Kang prepared for a European tour, driven by widespread international demand for his insights into success. While preparing, a profound ambition bloomed within Prince Yi Kang, yearning to achieve more than just Korean independence in his lifetime. Prince Yi Kang declared with resolute conviction that he would ensure an end to all unjust thefts and unfair disputes. Recalling Japan's persistent diplomatic aggressions, Prince Yi Kang vowed to eradicate such historical injustices, knowing the arduous path ahead. A man in a dark suit announced their arrival, the faint sounds of their bustling entry filling the grand, expectant hall. With a confident smile, Prince Yi Kang declared the strategic groundwork for his ambitious plans had officially begun. He gathered his team to unveil 2 deeply personal projects, ambitions he intended to dedicate his entire life to achieving. The men's faces contorted in shock and curiosity at the sudden, weighty implication of a lifetime's endeavor. Prince Yi Kang presented the first insidious problem, the deliberate mislabeling of the Joseon Sea as the Sea of Japan on modern maps. A collective surge of shock and anger gripped them as the insidious plan to erase the Korean Empire's identity became horrifyingly clear. With resonant authority, the speaker issued a clear directive: protest every mislabeled geographical name and inform foreign ministries of Japan's egregious overreach. Prince Yi Kang then unveiled his second diplomatic strategy, a project to foster U.S.-Korean Empire friendship through a symbolic donation of plum blossom trees to Washington, D.C. He reflected on Japan's past triumph, recalling how their cherry blossom gift had cultivated a positive image in Washington, a potent symbol he himself had admired. Prince Yi Kang declared their audacious intent to seize that positive image, prompting immediate concerns about the immense financial investment required for such a lasting endeavor. He painted a vision of strategic foresight: his nation's flower, firmly rooted as a symbol of friendship, would inevitably yield invaluable diplomatic dividends in the future. Prince Yi Kang confidently dismissed the cost, stating such an invaluable image was cheaper than gold, leaving his chibi companions marveling at his brilliant insight. Entrusting the projects to his Hapsung Association representatives, Prince Yi Kang received assurances of diligence for his upcoming European tour. His European tour began in the Netherlands, where Queen Wilhelmina, the nation's longest-reigning monarch, offered a dignified welcome for his visit. Prince Yi Kang politely returned the pleasantries, extending his sincere hopes for Her Majesty's well-being. Queen Wilhelmina's blunt admission of ill-being sent a sudden chill through the room, catching Prince Yi Kang utterly by surprise. Prince Yi Kang inwardly fumed at the suffocating tension, realizing his diplomatic efforts were doomed unless this sudden hostility could be swiftly diffused. With a chilling formality, Queen Wilhelmina offered congratulations on the princess consort's pregnancy, her words carrying an unmistakable undercurrent of ice. Prince Yi Kang stammered through an awkward acceptance of the Queen's chilly congratulations, Ethel offering a contrasting, warm smile. Queen Wilhelmina's pointed remark about a good marital relationship made Hendrik groan with sudden, distressed comprehension of her true feelings. Prince Yi Kang silently acknowledged the stark, known animosity festering between the Queen and Hendrik. Ethel, radiant and pregnant, unwittingly became a stark contrast to the Queen's barren marriage, a painful reminder of Hendrik's wandering and their heirless future. Prince Yi Kang grimly recognized the severity of his diplomatic predicament. A soft, reassuring touch on his hand startled Prince Yi Kang. Prince Yi Kang looked up, surprised, recognizing Ethel's supportive presence. Ethel confidently took charge of the Queen, melting Prince Yi Kang's anxieties with a truly reassuring smile. Ethel confidently engaged the royal couple, her natural sociability already guiding the tense interaction towards a new, more promising direction. The chibi versions of Hendrik and Prince Yi Kang cheerfully agreed to relocate, seeking a fresh conversational setting. Grand Duke Hendrik, startled, erupted in sudden anger at an unheard proposition within the opulent confines of his office. Hendrik's face went pale with shock as the unthinkable word, divorce, reverberated through the room. Hendrik's resolute declaration of divorce sent Prince Yi Kang into a desperate panic, envisioning the catastrophic ruin of all his lucrative business deals. Prince Yi Kang probed for answers, prompting Hendrik to angrily recount the Queen's public disregard and chilling glares. The Queen stood with her back to him, a silent, melancholic chasm growing between them. Prince Yi Kang's pensive thoughts affirmed his earlier suspicion, the profound, unspoken issue of an heir was the true root of their marital discord. Hendrik, distressed and near tears, confirmed the heir issue was indeed a profound and painful marital concern. Prince Yi Kang logically challenged Hendrik's pursuit of divorce, questioning why he wouldn't resolve a concern, which prompted Hendrik's confused, uncertain retraction. Hendrik, flustered and tearful, confessed to crippling nervousness in the bedroom, confirming Prince Yi Kang's silent assessment of his complete intimidation. Prince Yi Kang realized with serendipitous delight that his promotional gift perfectly aligned with Hendrik's exact, unspoken need. Hendrik, brimming with curiosity, asked about the item he needed, as Prince Yi Kang introduced a Korean specialty he sought to reclaim from Japanese appropriation. The mystical essence of Goryeo red ginseng shimmered into view. With a sly, knowing smile, Prince Yi Kang extolled red ginseng's virtues, particularly its warming effects and specific benefits for men. Prince Yi Kang's suggestive words struck Hendrik with a jolt of stunned, stiffening realization. As Prince Yi Kang offered the gift of friendship, a beaming Hendrik declared him a true, newfound ally. Hendrik, overcome with urgent excitement, virtually flew from the room, leaving Prince Yi Kang to calmly grant his hasty departure. Prince Yi Kang contemplatively mused on the unpredictable power of belief, wondering whether Ethel had deftly navigated the Queen's complex emotional landscape. The following day, Queen Wilhelmina's demeanor had undergone a complete and utterly inexplicable transformation. Queen Wilhelmina declared her unwavering, emphatic support for all of Prince Yi Kang's business ventures within her kingdom. Prince Yi Kang, surprised by the Queen's sudden endorsement, respectfully probed for her reasons, which she met with a meaningful silence. The Queen coyly attributed her change of heart to Prince Yi Kang's wise wife, leaving him momentarily stunned. The Queen candidly confessed her initial disdain for Prince Yi Kang, revealing her past suspicion that he was merely exploiting Hendrik's status. Queen Wilhelmina pressed him on his current opinion, and Prince Yi Kang unequivocally confirmed his trust by continuing their shared ventures. Queen Wilhelmina now recognized Prince Yi Kang as Hendrik's genuine friend, a supportive confidant who truly understood his struggles. The narration painted a somber picture of Hendrik's precarious position, a royal dilemma caught between financial aid that risked misunderstanding and a lack of support that eroded his prestige. Prince Yi Kang realized his presence had become a calming balm for Hendrik, subtly resolving a persistent headache for the grateful queen. The queen warmly reassured Prince Yi Kang of her unwavering support, promising that her country would richly compensate his friendship. The Chibi royals playfully agreed that formalizing their alliance with a contract would be a prudent and necessary step. A man in a dark suit presented the business contract for Prince Yi Kang's review, inviting any necessary adjustments. Prince Yi Kang's eyes widened in profound shock, the words on the contract utterly bewildering him. The man in the light suit formally presented the business contract, and Queen Wilhelmina, ever attentive, granted her acknowledgement. A confident smile spread across Prince Yi Kang's face. He rustled the documents, expecting only favorable terms. Huang Dang, a sudden, disbelieving jolt struck Prince Yi Kang as he realized the terms were almost too good. Prince Yi Kang, bewildered, questioned if the queen truly intended to sign such a contract, to which she chuckled, asking if he found it agreeable. This was no mere liking, the document detailed every consideration he needed, even promises Hendrik had made. The prince's eyes narrowed, a cautious suspicion creeping in. Surely, such overwhelming favor demanded something in return. Queen Wilhelmina's silence deepened the mystery, her eyes holding untold intentions. With a grand and confident smile, Queen Wilhelmina unveiled her singular condition. Prince Yi Kang was to ensure Hendrik relinquished his ties to RLH Motors. The prince began to question Hendrik's shares, then a sudden of understanding illuminated his face. The fragmented truth crystallized. Britain's influence sought to reign in Hendrik, preventing him from bolstering Germany's burgeoning military might. Prince Yi Kang confidently assured the queen he understood her concern and would persuade Hendrik, though she remained curious about his chances. Chibi Prince Yi Kang cheekily explained that Hendrik, far from seeking influence, just loved to scatter his riches, a truth the Chibi queen silently conceded. The prince then revealed his cunning plan, an exchange of shares for high-dividend oil, an offer Hendrik would eagerly accept for greater wealth. With a triumphant smirk, Prince Yi Kang declared the task of persuasion would prove utterly undemanding. Queen Wilhelmina held her regal gaze, resolute in her unspoken expectations. Amidst sparkling agreement, Queen Wilhelmina extended her trust to Prince Yi Kang, sealing their alliance with a radiant handshake. Ethel complimented the delicious tea, prompting the maid to reveal the queen's extensive instructions regarding the princess consort's every wish. Dada, Prince Yi Kang burst into the room, his urgent call for Ethel cutting through the calm, startling her. A wave of inexplicable anxiety washed over Prince Yi Kang, despite yesterday's seemingly successful negotiation. Boltiok, Ethel sprang up, her concern mirroring his disheveled state, wondering if their plans had faltered. Warwick, Prince Yi Kang swept Ethel into a tight embrace, eliciting a startled Kaya from her. Ethel, bewildered, demanded to know what he had done, to which Prince Yi Kang, with a mischievous Chiok tap, merely feigned innocence. With a wide, mischievous Waljak smirk, Prince Yi Kang pressed Ethel for her secrets with the queen. Ethel offered a sweet Sengut smile, subtly asking if his mission succeeded. More than well. Prince Yi Kang declared, peppering Ethel with joyful jock kisses, eager to learn her secret know-how. A day earlier, the grand, majestic Queen's glass greenhouse had been the setting for a crucial encounter. Queen Wilhelmina let out a thoughtful exhale as Ethel compared the garden's warmth to the Queen's own disposition. Weok, the Queen's head snapped up, struck by a sudden realization. Queen Wilhelmina apologized for her lack of composure, but Ethel, with a subtle geolo shake of her head, feigned utter ignorance. Ethel spoke of her initial nervousness in a European court, then expressed sincere gratitude for the Queen's unexpected warmth and consideration. Ethel thanked the Queen, her worries having melted away like snow under the comforting sun of hospitality. Queen Wilhelmina praised Ethel's bright disposition, to which Ethel, taking geobeak steps, replied with a demure modesty. Sook, Ethel gracefully extended her hand, offering to reward the Queen for her hospitality, piquing Wilhelmina's curiosity. With an empathetic co-okay, Ethel gently clasped the Queen's hand, offering to share the burden of her worries. A surprised silence fell as Queen Wilhelmina pondered Ethel's unexpected offer. Chibi Ethel, her donkey ears jongut perked, playfully suggested the Queen whisper her burdens as if to a secret bamboo forest. Queen Wilhelmina laughed, finding Ethel's eccentricity only deepened her growing trust. Queen Wilhelmina confessed the heavy burden of her inability to conceive an heir, a sorrow compounded by the deepening emotional rift with Hendrik. A man held a distraught woman, their sorrow echoing across the fractured, gleaming chasm of their shared grief. Queen Wilhelmina sighed, admitting her relationship with Hendrik now overshadowed all other anxieties. Ethel, surrounded by soft jaeik chirps, pinpointed the core of the royal discord, a profound lack of emotional honesty and shared effort. Queen Wilhelmina acknowledged Ethel's surprising directness, even apologizing for her own potentially rude observation. With a gentle Sengut smile, Ethel persuasively argued for deeper marital understanding, beyond mere royal etiquette. Ethel painted a vivid, dreamy picture of marriage, a private sanctuary where true intimacy blossomed, free from ceremonial restraints. Queen Wilhelmina listened intently, her expression etched with profound contemplation. A palpable jinjang tension filled the air as Ethel asked if her words resonated deeply enough. A chibi Ethel let out a frustrated euaang, wondering what else to offer, while the real Ethel pressed the Queen on achieving comfortable intimacy. The Queen admitted her lifelong habits made change seem impossible, but Ethel confidently asserted, "It's easy." With an encouraging smirk, Ethel advised the Queen to embrace laughter, promising it would heal both health and their royal relationship. Ethel explained the initial awkwardness would fade, replaced by a comfortable familiarity, much like a budding romance. His warm, inviting smile seemed to embody the very peace and laughter Ethel promised. "And a baby too?" Chibi Ethel cheekily suggested, as Chibi Queen Wilhelmina, doubtful, questioned if such an easy method could truly work. Ethel challenged the Queen's hesitation, urging her to trust and try, and Queen Wilhelmina, with a slight hyung, agreed to follow the advice. Prince Yi Kang chuckled, acknowledging Ethel's persuasive skills had indeed yielded excellent results. Grand Duke Hendrik, smugly smiling, believed his own efforts sealed the deal. With a pleased humid smirk, Ethel boasted of her sweet-talking prowess and the Rockefeller shares she'd brought. Prince Yi Kang lauded Ethel as his goddess of luck, to which she playfully retorted that he was luck itself for capturing her. Ethel playfully implored him to keep loving her to retain his good fortune, and he swore his unwavering devotion was only for her. Prince Yi Kang successfully persuaded Hendrik to swap his RLH Motors shares for Royal Dutch Oil, paving the way for a formal proposal of oil exploration and drilling. The Netherlands Prime Minister confirmed the oil project's feasibility, citing the Queen's profound trust in the prince as the ultimate enabler. Prince Yi Kang declared he would repay their trust with immense profit, having effortlessly secured the coveted oil fields. The world's future largest oil fields, Palembang and Bojonegoro, now belong to him. Post-war wealth would reign in, his first tour's goals astonishingly achieved. As Prince Yi Kang concluded his splendid first tour, days later, a sharp tock-tock echoed through the majestic Rothschild manor, announcing James's arrival. Geobeak, James's footsteps preceded his delivery of reports to Walter Rothschild, who noted Yi Kang's dossier was already complete. Walter Rothschild asked James if he had given the documents to the other Walter, which James confirmed, with a hint of reservation. Walter Rothschild's mind seethed with frustration. That boy simply refused to grasp the crucial information needed to reshape the world. Walter Rothschild mentally grumbled that since the assassination attempt, Prince Yi Kang had developed a strange sympathy, making him impervious to advice. James voiced his hope for Lord Walter's understanding, then handed over Yi Kang's report, which Rothschild accepted with a curious jawlang. With a dangerous grin, Walter Rothschild declared, he finally crossed the line. Baron Nathan Rothschild, a man whose thoughts always carried weighty implications, considered if it was time to assess Prince Yi Kang's recent endeavors. A dark, gleeful chuckle escaped Baron Nathan Rothschild as he slammed his hand down, declaring that someone had finally dared to overstep. The man in dark suit, ever precise, inquired if the transgression concerned the royal Dutch capital increase, which Rothschild promptly affirmed. Frustration seethed within Rothschild, he cursed the swift hand that snatched an opportunity he had long coveted. The man in dark suit, with a knowing flick of a paper, observed that his initial instinct about Prince Yi Kang proving a troublesome adversary had been uncannily accurate. Is there no way to seize him by the throat? Baron Nathan Rothschild mused, prompting his aide to suggest targeting the prince's vulnerable homeland. Rothschild's laughter held a cynical edge as he explained their hands were tied, a joint railway project meant cooperation, and direct confrontation would only risk exposing their true intentions. Yi Kang's very presence fractured the delicate balance of power, Rothschild reflected, a dangerous disruption that threatened to turn the leash back on him if his hidden machinations were revealed. He must be slipping up somewhere, Baron Nathan Rothschild theorized, his unwavering certainty drawing a questioning murmur from his assistant. A document spread before them confirmed the heavy truth, Prince Yi Kang's entire fortune was gambled on oil. The man in dark suit verified Yi Kang's brazen play, he had bulk purchased Standard Oil shares, seizing the moment of its undervalued stock during the Anti-Monopoly Act lawsuit. Rothschild, with a calculating gaze, estimated the prince had poured half his assets into this venture, a figure the aide numerically confirmed. A derisive laugh echoed as Rothschild dismissed Yi Kang as a naive greenhorn, sparking his aide's eager inquiry about a brilliant new strategy. Rothschild reminded his aide of the Anti-Monopoly Act lawsuit, a 5-year conspiracy he and Morgan had meticulously crafted to dismantle Rockefeller. The Anti-Monopoly Act, a sinister web woven to shatter corporate titans, ensnared Prince Yi Kang in its dark threads, transforming him from a player to an unwitting pawn. A deafening bang sealed Yi Kang's fate, the impending bill would break Standard Oil into fragments, rendering his massive investment a worthless pile of scraps, a crushing blow that plunged him into despair. Your long-term work finally bears fruit, the aide remarked, as Rothschild, brimming with confidence, acknowledged their plan would at least disrupt their rivals' momentum. A subtle smirk played on Baron Nathan Rothschild's lips, betraying his eager anticipation for the impending chaos. Days later, the scene shifted to the majestic Saejingjin Hall, nestled within the Korean Empire's Grand Gyeongbokgung Palace. Minister of Interior Im Seonjin strode into the traditional Korean hall, where his fellow ministers already awaited, seated at low tables. Minister of Interior Im Seonjin's voice cut through the soft quiet, acknowledging the assembled ministers. Minister of Agriculture, Commerce, and Industry Song Byung-jun immediately conveyed their collective eagerness, waiting for the Minister of Interior to elaborate. Minister of Interior Im Seonjin leaned in, his question pressing, how fared the escalating power struggle between Seonji and Katsura? Minister of Justice Jo Young-young revealed Japan's internal turmoil, confirming Katsura's resurging influence, a revelation that shocked Im Seonjin, who had believed Katsura's power was utterly broken. Minister of Education Lee Jae-gun worried about their earlier gamble on Seonji, but Minister of Justice Jo Young-young calmly advised continued observation. Jo Young-young pressed Im Seonjin on the root of Katsura's surprising resurgence, to which Im Seonjin explained the current prime minister was being intimidated by military factions. This alarming turn of events reportedly stemmed from a covert meeting with the former prime minister Katsura himself. Lee Jae-gun's thoughts jumped to Europe, wondering if the unusual atmosphere there had provoked the gathering, a suspicion Im Seonjin confirmed. Im Seonjin hesitated, then revealed the true cause wasn't Europe but King Ui, prompting Song Byung-jun to demand an explanation for his latest actions. Minister Seonjin recounted the awe-inspiring demonstration. King Yui's RIK had unveiled a new weapon in Germany, a marvel that left all witnesses utterly astounded. So profound was the weapon's impact that European powers were now lining up with urgent desperation to purchase it. Seonjin confessed his suspicion: the military faction's intimidation was a direct consequence of King Yui's formidable new weapon. Prince Yi Kang's undeniable triumphs vexed both Japan and the pro-Japanese factions within Korea, his public support of the Gando and Maritime Province Independence Army a growing threat. Minister of Justice Jo Young-young, exhaling a plume of smoke, grasped the grim truth: King Yui's success had threatened the military, driving them into the arms of hardliners. Adding to the shock, Seonjin reported King Yui had not stopped in Europe but had ventured onward to Russia, a revelation that startled Jo Young-young. Jo Young-young, his eyes narrowed with dismissive certainty, believed King Yui's solo struggles were a futile attempt to right an already insurmountable tilt. A heavy silence descended as the ministers absorbed the dire news, their faces glistening with unease. Jo Young-young warned that Katsura's return would reignite that matter, prompting Song Byung-jun to inquire about the veiled threat. Jo Young-young confirmed his fears: should Katsura regain power, he would relentlessly accelerate the annexation of Korea to compensate for lost time. We must keep the former king on a tight leash, Jo Young-young smirked, before inquiring about Gojong's current state. Minister of Education Lee Jae-gun reported the former king's silence since the incident, bringing a small, pleased smile of relief to Jo Young-young's face. King Gojong's attempt to reclaim royal authority through Prince Yi Kang and the moderate Ito Hirobumi was brutally cut short by Ito's assassination. Son Arasuk, the second resident general, systematically dismantled Gojong's network, eliminating anyone who could possibly conspire with him. And then, with chilling precision, used the wreckage of those alliances to intimidate the former king himself. Since that crushing intimidation, Gojong had retreated into seclusion, his spirit broken and all energy drained. Jo Young-young instructed continued vigilance over the former king, while Seonjin stressed the importance of his survival until Korea's annexation was complete, a sentiment the assembled men cheered for, envisioning 1,000 years of prosperity. As Jo Young-young prepared to depart, his footsteps echoing softly, Minister of Agriculture, Commerce, and Industry Song Byung-jun urgently called out, indicating he had more to share. Song Byung-jun leaned closer, whispering his concern about an incident that had recently unfolded in Wiju. Song Byung-jun described the Wiju tragedy, a horrific event where rebels had violently annihilated an entire family, sending shivers of terror through those who heard it. The victim, Song Byung-jun clarified, was a military police assistant named Park, his gruesome fate hinted at by bloody, severed feet. The military police assistant, a system of informants established by Ito Hirobumi, had become an entity reviled by the righteous armies and the Korean people, embodying deep-seated betrayal and sparking violent retribution. Song Byung-jun confirmed the chilling detail: the recent victims were all known supporters of King Yui. Was the deceased an acquaintance? Song Byung-jun pressed, only for Jo Young-young to emphatically deny a close connection, his voice betraying a hint of urgency. Song Byung-jun understood Jo Young-young's unspoken fear of association, yet Jo Young-young, feigning concern, offered Song Byung-jun additional guards for his residence. A relieved smile spread across Song Byung-jun's face as he graciously thanked the Prime Minister. Jo Young-young dismissed the thanks with a chuckle, internally sneering at Song Byung-jun's spineless readiness to betray his own nation. Jo Young-young prepared to leave, but Song Byung-jun, filled with a new concern, warned him about an extreme subordinate of King Yui who had recently been appointed. Song Byung-jun speculated that this ruthless individual might have masterminded the Wiju incident, hinting at unpredictable future violence. Jo Young-young, with a confident smile, dismissed Song Byung-jun's fears as exaggerated, claiming King Yui's forces were as insignificant as summer mosquitoes, but Song Byung-jun remained unconvinced. "Put your worries aside," Jo Young-young declared, then the loud roar of his accelerating car quickly carried him away. Lee Hong-gu greeted Lee Won-young upon his arrival home, noting his father's tardiness. Li Wanyong, his expression serious, immediately questioned if something unpleasant had occurred. As they walked through the residence, Li Wanyong informed his son of the swift developments in Japan, and the imminent discussions regarding Korea's annexation. Li Honggu gasped in surprise, but Li Wanyong confirmed the timeline, adding that a single concern lingered despite Katsura's impending return to power. Li Wanyong reminded his son of their family's unwavering principle, always act for maximum benefit, then assigned him a crucial task before making their next grand decision. Go to Russia, Li Wanyong commanded, a destination that surprised Li Honggu, as he realized Prince Yi Kang was also there. A woman with blonde hair looked on, her expression thoughtful, perhaps pondering the threads of fate weaving around them. Under the majestic sweep of the Winter Palace, Prince Yi Kang received a formal, welcoming greeting from a man in brown. Li Byung-jun, the minister to Russia, beamed with cheerful gratitude, declaring everyone well, his thanks sparkling like a bright compliment. The open palace grounds invited conversation as Li Byung-jun voiced his surprise, only for Prince Yi Kang to reveal his audacious ambition, the Tsar's financial manager. With an encouraging smile, Li Byung-jun confirmed the Tsar's urgent need for a wealth manager, noting His Majesty had often heard of Prince Yi Kang's exploits. Within a grand, atmospheric dining room, shadowed figures had once whispered, acknowledging the prince's incredible feats, wondering if the Tsar had also caught wind. With a friendly smirk, Prince Yi Kang acknowledged Li Byung-jun's influence, and with mutual anticipation, they agreed to head inside to the Tsar. They advanced with purpose, their confident steps echoing through the grand, luxurious palace, Prince Yi Kang already on his money hunt. He found himself in the opulent hall, surrounded by jovial laughter, though his inner thoughts screamed reluctance. Dealing with Russians always meant enduring strong liquor, a tradition he truly abhorred. Tsar Nicholas II, raising his glass with a convivial clink, declared there was nothing quite like alcohol for getting close. Wasn't that right, Prince Yi? Prince Yi Kang offered a polite grin, outwardly agreeing, though inwardly he vowed to endure the ordeal, no matter how much he hated it. The Chibi Tsar gleefully pushed more drinks, but Chibi Prince Yi Kang, sweating profusely, inwardly swore to endure it all for the Tsar's precious investments. A sepia-toned tableau of Tsar Nicholas II and his family underscored the narration. The Russian imperial family's wealth was truly astronomical, surprising even modern sensibilities. A stark, gritty image of a revolutionary stood as narration portended the price of such wealth. The inevitable Red Revolution, born from untold suffering, would soon topple the Romanov dynasty. He watched the liquid pour with a splash, his mind racing. If he could funnel that doomed wealth into his bank before the revolution, it would become his blind money. The heavy air of the dining hall thickened as Tsar Nicholas II, seeing Prince Yi Kang's distress, asked if perhaps he had imbibed too much. With a defiant clink of his glass, Prince Yi Kang laughed off the concern, yet his mind screamed he would drink 100 glasses more for such profits. He gulped down his drink with a visceral chug, as the Tsar's off-panel voice boomed with praise for his refreshingly bold spirit to the lively assembly. A subtle thud echoed from a fallen guest as Prince Yi Kang observed the carnage with a hint of triumph. Only he and the Tsar were left standing. The Tsar, with an intimate and inviting smile, declared the room their private confessional, urging Prince Yi Kang to speak freely of anything on his mind. Tsar Nicholas II confessed to finding Prince Yi Kang profoundly mysterious, prompting the prince to rustle slightly and inquire what kind of rumors had painted such a picture. Through a fragmented montage of somber images and a singular eye, the Tsar began recounting the tales, a prince of a ruined nation, yet a prince who, against all odds, rose again. The soft, romantic garden became a backdrop as the Tsar continued his catalogue of rumors, a prince who married into an American conglomerate, and, even more remarkably, a prince who made money abnormally well. Banknotes rained from a golden sky as Prince Yi Kang, enthroned, surveyed his boundless wealth, a vivid, surreal testament to his financial triumph. The Tsar, captivated, pressed for his secret, and Prince Yi Kang, with a gentle rustle, chuckled that he simply generated profit through straightforward investments. With a serious, inquisitive gaze and a slight rustle of his robes, Tsar Nicholas II asked directly, did his company manage the assets of other royal families? A cunning smirk played on Prince Yi Kang's lips. The Tsar had taken the bait, he thought, as he confidently explained their anonymous investment accounts. Chibi Tsar Nicholas II, ears pondering, perked up at anonymous, while Chibi Prince Yi Kang, with a sly cat-eared smirk, subtly nudged his interest. The Tsar demanded more details, and Prince Yi Kang, with a triumphant thump of his chest, internally celebrated knowing the Tsar would react to anonymous as he began explaining his company's strategy. From the opulent heights, Tsar Nicholas II gasped, pinpointing the high-risk, high-return strategy, as Prince Yi Kang calmly offered him various alternatives. Tsar Nicholas II paused, his pensive expression etched with slight anxiety, as he deeply considered the options. Prince Yi Kang, radiating with a charming sparkle, confidently offered a month of his presence, inviting the Tsar to comfortable consultation at any time. Through the soft, reflective arch of the window, Tsar Nicholas II's unseen voice echoed his agreement, confirming he would wait. The serene mansion glistened under a sunny sky as narration revealed the Tsar's swift decision, marked by unseen footsteps. Under a bright, natural sky, Pyotr Stolypin, the Russian Prime Minister, introduced himself with serious gravitas. Prince Yi Kang extended a welcoming hand, and with a soft squeak and thud, Prime Minister Stolypin stepped into the elegant residence. As a butler poured tea, Prince Yi Kang asked if the Tsar had decided, and Stolypin confirmed it with a soft set of footsteps, yet hinted at another matter. With a subtle, knowing gaze, Prime Minister Stolypin implied there was still a matter they needed to settle. Prince Yi Kang's eye widened in a sudden gasp, utterly baffled by Stolypin's ominous suggestion to settle. Against a stark, somber backdrop of silhouetted soldiers, Prince Yi Kang dropped his unexpected demand, an occupation fee for the righteous army's presence. In the elegant living room, Prime Minister Stolypin surprisingly agreed, and Prince Yi Kang, with a subtle nod, offered thanks for Russia's past support, revealing his strategic hand. Prime Minister Stolypin, a smug smile spreading across his face, then asked for the exact amount, internally declaring this negotiation unexpectedly smooth. He inwardly calculated Russia's dire finances, knowing a large demand was necessary, yet considering it a shrewd investment that, with a subtle nod, would eventually return to him. With a dramatic whoosh of radiant light, Prince Yi Kang boldly declared, he would pay the Russian government an astonishing $1.5 million every year, earning an unseen gasp. Prime Minister Stolypin gasped, utterly stunned by the colossal sum, which Prince Yi Kang calmly confirmed, the narration emphasizing it was equivalent to $30 million today. Chibi Prince Yi Kang slyly framed the payment as gratitude, while Chibi Stolypin's eyes widened in comical shock, and a Chibi man in glasses seemed to comically collapse. Prime Minister Stolypin, beaming with feigned admiration, praised Prince Yi Kang's magnanimity, though his thoughts gleefully crowned him, the king of suckers. Prince Yi Kang offered humble thanks, his inner thought sparkling with triumph. Once the Red Revolution arrived, all that money would be his. With a knowing smile, Prime Minister Stolypin shook Prince Yi Kang's hand, promising to convey his cooperativeness to the Tsar and entrusting him with the management. As the butler offered Stolypin his coat, Prince Yi Kang lingered, his mind calculating how he might further indebt the Prime Minister. Then, Prince Yi Kang dropped a visceral bombshell, revealing his knowledge of the Tsarevich's hemophilia, causing Prime Minister Stolypin to gasp and drop his coat. Despite Stolypin's defensive retort, Prince Yi Kang calmly reassured him, framing his shocking remark as an effort to foster a good relationship. With a serious, almost menacing glare, Prince Yi Kang clarified his true intent, offering Stolypin a method to get rid of someone he found displeasing. Prime Minister Stolypin's wide-eyed face convulsed in shock as Prince Yi Kang dramatically declared the name, Grigory Rasputin. The narration began on Grigory Rasputin, detailing how he had miraculously alleviated Tsarevich Alexei's illness when all other treatments failed. Through this, Rasputin, a peasant, gained the Tsar and Empress's complete trust, wielding immense power that made him a formidable political rival to Stolypin himself. The narration meticulously detailed Tsarevich Alexei's hemophilia, explaining how aspirin worsened it, and hinting at Rasputin's herbal remedies as the superior alternative, requiring a new medicine. Prince Yi Kang smiled with shrewd confidence, subtly suggesting that the credit now concentrated on Rasputin could shift to Stolypin, thinking, this much of a hint should be enough. Prime Minister Stolypin's face broke into a knowing smile, confirming he understood Prince Yi Kang's intentions well and would follow his advice. 1 week later, beneath a majestic, sunlit sky, an off-panel voice announced, the contract. In the opulent room, a gentle rustle of paper accompanied the narration. Prince Yi Kang had officially become the financial manager of the Russian imperial family. Tsar Nicholas II, beaming, pointed at the document, his satisfaction complete with the anonymous account, a secret, chibi Prince Yi Kang noted, only he and his descendants could access. With a decisive swoosh, Tsar Nicholas II's hand placed a sealed brown folder, the comprehensive list of his assets, upon the table. Within the opulent dining hall, Prince Yi Kang's mind reeled as he read, realizing that Tsar's vast wealth far exceeded even his highest expectations. A somber montage of Tsarevich Alexei's fleeting innocence and a surging crowd reflected the narration. Had the crown forsaken greed, this impending tragedy could have been averted. The grand dining hall resonated with laughter as Prince Yi Kang confidently confirmed his commitment, and Tsar Nicholas II, brimming with confidence, credited Stolypin's excellent recommendation. Prime Minister Stolypin lauded Prince Yi Kang's abilities, while a smirking chibi Prince Yi Kang inwardly acknowledged he was simply reaping the benefits of accumulated debts. Tsar Nicholas II jovially proposed another round of special liquor, the butler preparing it, but Prince Yi Kang could only manage a weary gasp. Beneath the serene night sky, a carriage clattered outside Prince Yi Kang's temporary residence, signaling a late hour. With quick steps, Woo Hyun-sik rushed in, his concern palpable, apologizing profusely for the urgent, late-night disturbance. Woo Hyun-sik announced an unexpected guest, eliciting a confused, questioning reaction from Prince Yi Kang about who would arrive at such an hour. An elderly woman, her gaze steady, greeted Prince Yi Kang, her words punctuated by soft knocks, as a wave of shocking recognition washed over him. Amidst the sparse light, an urgent thought pierced the silence. Who could this be? The name, Your Highness, escaped the man's lips, and Prince Yi Kang's faint smile held a silent implication. With a warm greeting and a soft swoosh, Prince Yi Kang welcomed Mrs. Sontag, who was charmed he remembered her Korean name. Recognizing the late hour, Prince Yi Kang extended a formal invitation to Mrs. Sontag and his attendant to discuss her urgent matters inside. Mrs. Sontag, a German-Russian citizen, had previously been a central, trusted figure in King Gojong's court, wielding significant diplomatic influence. Prince Yi Kang remarked that he had occasionally heard news of her, prompting her surprised inquiry. Immigrants from Joseon had shared stories of Mrs. Sontag's helpful hotel and her profound generosity, confirming the widespread gratitude for her benevolent spirit. With a gentle ho-ho, Mrs. Sontag affirmed her profitable venture made helping others a natural extension of her success. The Sontag Hotel, outwardly ordinary, was in truth the exclusive guesthouse for the Joseon royal family and the sole venue for all government functions. His piercing gaze and unspoken question implied a deeper reason for her sudden departure from such a prominent hotel. With a weary ha, Mrs. Sontag confirmed his suspicions. Relentless Japanese interference had made normal business operations impossible. She speculated that the new resident general had likely ordered the constant surveillance of everyone connected to His Majesty, including herself. Mrs. Sontag recounted the constant torment and restrictions, as unseen military men slyly observed Hulbert's every move. The stark reality was clear: all those loyal to King Gojong were dramatically forced into a bleak exodus. He mused gravely that the Japanese were systematically severing all of his royal father's vital connections. With deep concern, she worried that His Majesty must feel profoundly lonely with so few allies left. He uttered a dismissive, "I suppose so," but his mind, with a quiet swoosh, already shifted to more pressing, strategic concerns. A solemn duty compelled him to aid these foreigners, who, though not of his blood, had risked everything for the Korean Empire. Prince Yi Kang leaned forward, posing a direct question about Mrs. Sontag's plans now that she had departed the Korean Empire. Her thoughts drifted to returning home, her urgent message now delivered. Prince Yi Kang, with a hint of hesitant persuasion, acknowledged her longing for home yet tentatively sought her continued assistance. Mrs. Sontag, her face alight with hope, inquired if she could still be useful, as Prince Yi Kang confirmed his need for hotel management expertise. Just as she affirmed her specialty, a sudden thump of realization struck Mrs. Sontag, remembering a crucial detail, sparking Prince Yi Kang's immediate inquiry. With a significant rustle, Mrs. Sontag presented a sealed, secret decree from King Gojong, surprising Prince Yi Kang with its unexpected origin. Prince Yi Kang inwardly dismissed the king's likely complaints, but Mrs. Sontag's grave news revealed Prime Minister Katsura's resolve to annex Korea by next year. A profound shock reverberated through him, the speed of the impending annexation was truly unthinkable. Mr. Hoover offered a polite greeting, but Prince Yi Kang, having urgently summoned him after Mrs. Sontag's news, immediately inquired about his requested favor. With an enthusiastic tada, Hoover proudly presented the awaited report. Prince Yi Kang chuckled, acknowledging Hoover's confident presentation boded well. Hoover laughed, rubbing his hands at the prospect of immense profit, and Prince Yi Kang, with a quiet clink, requested patience to review the report thoroughly. Hoover's report, a veritable gleam of opportunity, revealed gold reserves far exceeding expectations, promising guaranteed, substantial profit. Though pleased, Prince Yi Kang noted the Ch.1 mine fell short. With a reassuring swoosh, Hoover clarified its performance was still excellent compared to others. With a clever smile, Hoover offered a method to guarantee profit, despite any reserve disappointments. Hoover explained the natural decline in gold mine yields, illustrating how initial abundance gave way to significantly lesser returns. Hoover conspiratorially revealed his scheme to deplete mines then sell the remains to unwitting ultimate suckers, a plan Prince Yi Kang found immensely clever. A cunning smirk played on his lips as he privately planned to eventually offload the depleted asset to Japan. His jaw clenched with a determined thump, he internally vowed Japan would never again strip the Korean Empire of its gold. While Prince Yi Kang privately reveled in his cunning strategy, Hoover, sensing a deeper need, directly probed whether he desperately required urgent funds. He responded with feigned indignation, questioning Hoover's blunt presumption. Hoover's inner thoughts echoed rumors of his cash shortage from stock sales, which Prince Yi Kang, with a light ha, simply found a strange fabrication. Prince Yi Kang quickly reassured Hoover his need was for a specific, urgent project, not financial woes, bringing the other man immense relief. Prince Yi Kang revealed his true reason for the summons was an unexpected new job offer, which Hoover, with an eager whoosh, immediately accepted. Prince Yi Kang proposed a Primorsky Krai exploration, a suggestion that left Hoover stunned at its Russian jurisdiction and inherent difficulty. With a confident swoosh, Prince Yi Kang explained his new role as the Tsar's financial manager granted him a decree for all Russian mining rights. Hoover, clutching the document, voiced profound amazement at Prince Yi Kang's truly far-reaching influence. With a confident sparkle in his eyes, Hoover vowed thorough exploration, earning Prince Yi Kang's complete trust and reliance. That night, in his temporary office, Prince Yi Kang confirmed everyone's presence, setting a formal, preparatory tone for their crucial meeting. He cut straight to the serious reason for their urgent gathering, Japan's accelerating, aggressive invasion of their nation. Prince Yi Kang explained Japan's accelerated aggression was a strategic reaction to his expanding international influence and their recent successful fighter plane development. With alarm and stunned realization, his subordinates worried news of Prince Yi Kang's new role would, given past agreements, severely provoke Japan. Prince Yi Kang predicted Japan's intensified provocation, fearing loss of their hard-won rights, would drive them to take immediate countermeasures. With hesitant concern, the man revealed the predicted movement had begun, citing the British and Japanese ambassadors' frequent contact in Russia. His jaw clenched, he seethed at Britain's duplicitous betrayal even while feigning alliance. With an exasperated sigh, they lamented the entrenched British-Japanese alliance and the frustrating cycle of new problems emerging after every success. A sudden spark of realization ignited his mind, and he commended Hyun-woo for his astute observation. With a cascade of curious, questioning, puzzled, and confused sounds, the men wondered what exactly he meant. Prince Yi Kang unveiled his strategic move, investing Tsar's funds into Manchuo, knowing Britain's fear of Russia's growth would ensure their opposition. With a sudden clap and sparkle of insight, the man realized the strategic power of his control over the Tsar's funds. With a triumphant bingo, and a confident clap, Prince Yi Kang declared his plan would force Britain to acknowledge the new reality. The men exclaimed with relieved claps that Prince Yi Kang's new role created a negotiation advantage, though one cautioned against over-relying on luck. With grave determination, Prince Yi Kang asserted they could no longer rely on luck, acknowledging that while he couldn't fully prevent annexation, its occurrence meant utter defeat. With grim resolve, Prince Yi Kang declared their mission: delay the annexation and, with a decisive grim focus, eradicate all internal factions to intervene in history. With a nervous gulp, the men questioned if he intended to finally unleash the long-delayed project to eradicate pro-Japanese factions within the mainland. With a confident smirk, Prince Yi Kang declared swift action against the exposed factions, ordering their immediate summoning, as ominous figures lurked in the shadows. A subordinate worried about funding, but a confident chuckle confirmed Prince Yi Kang, as the Tsar's financial manager, had already secured the budget through Hoover, impressing everyone. With deep concern, the man acknowledged the difficulty of assassinating targets who now stayed indoors, spooked by the Weiju incident. Amidst a haunting, violent tableau, Prince Yi Kang's mind turned to the critically ill King of Belgium, sensing an opportune moment. Prince Yi Kang anticipated Lee Won-yong, as Prime Minister, would surely attend the funeral, presenting a strategic opportunity. Prince Yi Kang's decisive plan to eliminate Lee Won-yong, a potent swoosh of warning to traitors, sparked a hopeful vision for the suffering Korean people. Days later, with crisp footsteps, Kim Gu and An Jung-gyeon arrived at St. Petersburg Station amidst the falling snow. With a shivering brrrn, An Jung-gyeon bitterly complained about the relentless cold and pervasive snow. An ecstatic Dalso burst into the snowy scene, proclaiming his timely arrival to the waiting men. Dalso beamed, relaying his success in securing an audience with King Yui's aides, perfectly synchronized with their journey. The man in the green robe acknowledged Dalso's efficient work, and Dalso promptly affirmed a car awaited to expedite their departure. A tremor of anxiety coursed through the man in green robes, wondering if King Yui, so lightly dismissed by his father, would prove manageable. Lee Hon-gu wrestled with the impossible task of deciphering Prince Yi Kang's true intent, a man who projected an unshakable, mountainous resolve. Prince Yi Kang's calm, direct question sliced through the quiet, catching Lee Hon-gu off guard and forcing a stammered acknowledgement. Lee Hon-gu bowed deeply, formally introducing himself as Lee Won-yong's son, only for Prince Yi Kang to sharply pivot to the real purpose of his visit. A flush of humiliation burned through Lee Hon-gu as he realized Prince Yi Kang's dismissiveness, before stating his mandate from the Empress. Prince Yi Kang, ever analytical, questioned the very reason his sister-in-law would send an envoy. Lee Hon-gu relayed the imperial edict, formally recognizing Princess Consort Oui as a member of the imperial family, a grand and long-awaited honor. Prince Yi Kang acknowledged the official news but, with a jolt of suspicion, immediately pressed Lee Hon-gu to reveal his true, ulterior motive. Internally, Lee Hon-gu reeled from Prince Yi Kang's unexpected aggression, struggling to formulate a suitably diplomatic, yet evasive, reply about seeking understanding. Prince Yi Kang's sharp, decisive words cut through Lee Hon-gu's pretense, accusing him of being his father's proxy, using the imperial edict as a mere front. Lee Hon-gu, awash in a golden haze of stunned realization, wondered how this once insignificant prince had amassed such formidable influence. Prince Yi Kang's unervingly perceptive declaration that Lee Hon-gu craved to know his thoughts sent a jolt of panic through the envoy, confirming Prince Yi Kang was unlike any man he knew. With cautious resolve, Lee Hon-gu conceded Prince Yi Kang's insight and, steeling himself, asked the blunt question, his ultimate goal. Prince Yi Kang, with a smug smile, declared his goal was simply lavish wealth, mockingly noting the irony of how he was treated now compared to his past neglect. An indignant flash of insight confirmed Lee Honggo's worst suspicions. Prince Yi Kang was merely a materialistic snob, no better than his father. Lee Honggo, seizing an opening, urged Prince Yi Kang to return to the empire if wealth was his sole pursuit, prompting Prince Yi Kang to ponder the implications. Then, Lee Honggo unveiled his chilling proposal, an alliance between his father, himself, and the Japanese government, promising Prince Yi Kang even greater riches. Prince Yi Kang's wry smirk betrayed his utter contempt, confirming his long-held belief about the predictable machinations of pro-Japanese traders. With a subtle, menacing gesture, Prince Yi Kang silenced Lee Honggo, observing that his impatience merely revealed their contemptuous view of him. With a profound and contented smile, Prince Yi Kang revealed his true, selfless ambition, to use his vast wealth to secure a future of peace and prosperity for his people. Lee Honggo stammered internally, overwhelmed and confused, questioning if this Prince Yi Kang was an entirely different man from his father. Prince Yi Kang's hand clamped onto Lee Honggo's shoulder as he declared national independence as his ultimate goal, then delivered a chilling threat to all who opposed it. Trembling with visceral fear, Lee Honggo could only stammer a disbelieving question about the feasibility of such a dream. Prince Yi Kang, with a chilling smirk, affirmed that Lee Honggo's very presence, dispatched to probe his power, served as irrefutable proof of independence's inevitable arrival. With a decisive turn, Prince Yi Kang dismissed Lee Honggo, asserting his mission was utterly futile and ordering him to depart. Lee Honggo, crushed and sweating, resignedly accepted Prince Yi Kang's unyielding nature, offering a formal, defeated farewell. A resonant thud signaled the door's closure, leaving Prince Yi Kang alone in the quiet elegance of his office, deep in thought. With focused intent, Prince Yi Kang called out, inviting the unseen visitor to enter. A man burst through the doorway, enraged and demanding answers, while Kim Gu frantically intervened, trying to calm the agitated newcomer. Prince Yi Kang, with a welcoming smile, dismissed their formalities, then smoothly inquired if they had overheard the previous, contentious conversation. The man in the light shirt seethed, muttering curses under his breath, barely restrained by Kim Gu's firm grip. Still agitated, the man insisted on immediate retribution for Lee Honggo, while Kim Gu desperately tried to de-escalate the volatile situation. Kim Gu passionately voiced his indignation at letting Lee Honggo escape unpunished, but Prince Yi Kang forcefully redirected their attention to a much grander objective. Kim Gu's face brightened with comprehension and anticipation, agreeing to Prince Yi Kang's call for a larger scope. Prince Yi Kang, with an inspiring gesture, clarified that their true target lay far beyond individuals, aiming for something immensely greater. Prince Yi Kang explained his expansive goal, not merely to fell small opportunists, but to eradicate the entire parasitic system that exploited the nation and its people. Kim Gu experienced a sudden flash of insight, realizing that killing Lee Honggo now would only drive other traitors deeper into hiding, confirming Prince Yi Kang's strategic patience. "He's bait!" Kim Gu exclaimed, his face alight with understanding, as the other man lauded the brilliant strategy with awed admiration. Chibi Prince Yi Kang mischievously hinted at a forthcoming lesson for the small fry, leaving his chibi companions perplexed. The next day, the majestic Trans-Siberian Railway chugged across a vast, snow-covered landscape under a brilliant sky. Lee Honggo, fraught with mixed emotions, worried how he would report his humiliating failure to his father, having fled Prince Yi Kang's presence. A knock, then a waiter's arrival with lunch, surprised both Lee Honggo and his companion, who wondered if the unexpected meal was included. Lee Honggo, pleased by the timely arrival of food, gratefully accepted the meal from the smiling waiter. His companion encouraged him to eat, and Lee Honggo politely began his meal. A faint creak of his knife against something hard beneath the meat caused Lee Honggo to pause, a prickle of unease unsettling his meal. Lee Honggo's dawning horror solidified as he unearthed a chilling note beneath his steak, a stark message warning him he had been spared by grace alone. A shriek escaped Lee Honggo as he recoiled, utensils clattering, prompting his startled companion to question what had transpired. Lee Honggo muttered King Yui's name through gritted teeth, a mixture of terror and furious understanding seizing him. His companion's confused inquiry about King Ui only intensified Lee Honggu's paralyzed fear. Lee Honggu, with internal panic, realized the catastrophic danger if Prince Yi Kang's burgeoning influence became known to the populace, fearing it would ignite false hope. With a nervous laugh, Lee Honggu hastily dismissed his outburst as a phantom bug, urging his companion to ignore the incident and resume eating. A few days later, the scene shifted to the tranquil, traditional residence of Lee Wanyong. Lee Wanyong, pipe in hand, calmly asked for his son's impression of Prince Yi Kang. Kneeling before him, Lee Honggu gravely reported King Ui was as formidable and dangerous as rumors suggested, prompting Lee Wanyong to demand specifics. Lee Honggu elaborated, explaining Prince Yi Kang pursued a grand, overarching vision far beyond petty, immediate gains. Lee Wanyong scoffed, finding his son's description jarringly different from the impatient, emotional Prince Yi Kang he thought he knew. Lee Honggu conceded Prince Yi Kang's emotional nature but, trembling with conviction, asserted his capabilities vastly surpassed those flaws, explaining his American success. Lee Honggu's revelation that Prince Yi Kang intended to use his power for national independence prompted an explosive, disbelieving shout from Lee Wanyong. Lee Honggu grimly detailed Prince Yi Kang's terrifying resolve: once independence was achieved, he would ruthlessly purge all who betrayed the nation. Lee Wanyong's hand slammed down, furiously dismissing independence as an impossible pipe dream, given Japan's inevitable annexation. Exploding in rage, Lee Wanyong denounced Prince Yi Kang's insolent arrogance, while a worried Lee Honggu timidly suggested further negotiation. Lee Wanyong abruptly ended the discussion, asserting that annexation was inevitable, rendering Prince Yi Kang's efforts utterly meaningless. Lee Wanyong, his back to the worried men, definitively concluded their business with Prince Yi Kang, walking away from any further discussion. Prince Yi Kang, from afar, anticipated Lee Wanyong's thoughts, confidently vowing that nothing would transpire as his adversary envisioned. The cathedral bells solemnly pealed, signaling a hallowed memorial ceremony for King Leopold II. A quiet command rippled through the hushed congregation, calling them to rise in solemn reverence. A formal pronouncement marked the somber farewell ceremony for King Leopold II, bringing the hallowed proceedings to their close. From their dim hideout, one questioned the weapon's reach, while the other replied with veiled confidence, citing its covert design by His Highness and Elder Wudong, Li Hoyang. The man in the green suit produced a wooden box with a solid thud, prompting a surprised inquiry from the seated man. The seated man explained the weapon's purpose: a long-range firearm for assassination. The concept is, its perfection Wudang's, the air humming with implication. A hand gently tapped the wooden box, silently conveying fervent prayers for a grand success and a safe return. With a confident click, the man in the dark suit loaded his rifle, affirming their inevitable success in a grim resolve. After the tedious memorial, Lee Honggu inquired about their vehicle, learning it was parked down the snow-covered hill. Lee Honggu, fraught with worry, asked his father if he would be all right, prompting a curious query about his deep concern. A contemplative silence filled the wide-open expanse outside the cathedral, making their vulnerability strikingly clear. The gray-haired elder expressed an ominous premonition, a chilling feeling about the path they were meant to take. Both men flinched abruptly, a sudden unease seizing them without warning. Lee Honggu asked his father what was wrong, but the elder dismissed it, urging them to hasten. Through the window, the man in the dark suit took aim with a sniper rifle, his focus unyielding while another observed. Outdoors, men walked unsuspecting across the patterned ground, one of them caught precisely in a sniper's crosshairs. With a fierce bang, the man fired, a bullet screaming its judgment, condemning the puppet of Joseon whose descendants could never atone for his sins. A sudden, violent whoosh of impact struck, sending white streaks across the red-hued scene as two men recoiled in shock. Father? Lee Honggu cried as the gray-haired elder collapsed, bleeding from a grievous wound. The elder shrieked, clutching his chest, his face contorted in pain as Lee Honggu cried out for his father. Lee Honggu knelt in panicked despair, his father collapsed motionless on the blood-splattered ground. Amidst another thump, two uniformed men desperately shielded the bald resident general, shouting warnings of assassination and urging him to take cover. The bald resident general stuttered, enraged, demanding immediate protection and the swift apprehension of the bastards. Lee Hong-gu held his father, distressed, as the elder choked and gasped, pleading desperately for his life. The bald resident general gritted his teeth, simmering with fury at how close the attempt had been after all his efforts to secure the Japan-Korea treaty. The bald resident general bitterly mused on Joseon slipping from his grasp, reflecting on the two figures standing as the ominous red sky swallowed the setting sun. On a cold December day, at the forefront of national treason, the gray-haired man met his bloody end, slumped and bleeding profusely. A rattling shout echoed through the tranquil exterior of the Japanese government general of Korea. A military officer rushed in, loudly asking if the resident general was unharmed, surprising the seated bald man. Unharmed save for a bandaged hand, the resident general calmly reported the deaths of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Agriculture. The military officer knelt, downplaying the deaths as mere pawns in comparison to the resident general's safety, before being dismissed to find the culprits. The military officer mumbled, reporting their failure to catch the assassins, igniting a furious shout from the shocked resident general. The resident general raged, questioning how a few culprits could escape hundreds of troops while a Korean man bowed in distress. Two men walked, one explaining their thorough yet fruitless search, concluding the target was struck from an impossibly long range. Again, the man in the dark suit took aim with the sniper rifle, his companion observing with grim intensity. The military officer expressed his frustration, the gunshot's origin remained elusive, and the Joseon people feigned consistent ignorance. The bald resident general erupted in a furious roar, papers scattering as he condemned their failure, demanding they should have slaughtered any Joseon bastard to draw out the rats. Still yelling for indiscriminate slaughter, the enraged resident general was interrupted by a calm man reporting an urgent matter. What could possibly be more urgent than this, the resident general thundered, but the calm man warned him of further blame should he escalate things after another incident. The bald resident general gasped in shock and anger as the man revealed a bomb had struck Yi Ji-young's residence. Yi Ji-young and his two sons lay dead on the spot, engulfed in the crackling flames of the explosion. The man continued, detailing Minister Im Seon-jun's death, sliced down by his own servant. Shaken, the bald resident general demanded explanations, but the man only advised him to lay low amidst the escalating violence before annexation. The bald resident general snarled in thought, convinced the coordinated attacks on the same day were directly related to the impending annexation of Korea. A dominant, imposing Prince Yi Kang, radiating power, loomed over the terrified, shrinking bald man, who now saw him as the mastermind obstructing annexation. A man rushed in with a mysterious letter for the resident general, who snatched it, wondering if it held answers during this chaotic time. The bald resident general's eyes widened in horror as he read the letter. The blood-splattered, torn letter chillingly threatened, "You will not be able to return to your homeland in one piece." The bald resident general, covered in blood, tore the letter to shreds, vowing vengeance against Prince Yi Kang, whom he was now certain orchestrated the incident. All life cycles, the narrative observed, like falling leaves making way for new buds, so too does death precede new life, a thought that resonated at Prince Yi Kang's mansion in San Francisco, marked by the powerful engine sound of his arrival. On the sun-drenched balcony, Ethel, glowing with pregnancy, and her maid fluttered with excitement as a door creaked open. Prince Yi Kang rushed forward, joyfully calling out to Ethel, who reciprocated his excited greeting. Prince Yi Kang embraced Ethel, relief washing over him as he asked if she had been well. Against Prince Yi Kang's suit, Ethel's eyes welled up with tears as she whispered a poignant "no." Prince Yi Kang, startled and concerned, asked about her health, only for Ethel to burst into playful laughter, revealing her teasing honesty about how much she missed him. He sighed with relief, amused by her playful warning that she would have been upset if he hadn't come immediately. He gently held her, affirming he would never let her be upset, then suggested they go inside, as Ethel eagerly anticipated his stories. Wiping his brow, Prince Yi Kang playfully recounted his ordeal with the alcohol-loving Russians, as Ethel smiled by his side. Ethel playfully threatened to scold the Tsar and Prime Minister, an amusing declaration that Prince Yi Kang found incredibly reassuring. Ethel gasped, clutching her belly with a pained expression, causing Prince Yi Kang to ask with immediate concern what was wrong. Her voice trembling with distress, Ethel realized with a sob that the baby was coming. Panic erupted in the grand living room as two men reacted with alarm, a piercing scream tearing through the air. Ethel screamed through her labor, clutching ropes as the maid urged her to breathe and push through the intense pain. Prince Yi Kang's face was etched with anxiety, shouting urgent encouragement for Ethel to keep pushing. Prince Yi Kang stood, back to the chaotic scene, his thoughts consumed by deep worry for Ethel's safety during the harrowing birth, praying nothing would go wrong. A baby's cries pierced the calm night, a joyful sound echoing from the mansion under a starry sky. A man joyfully announced the birth of a prince, then Prince Yi Kang, his concern shifting, asked about Ethel's well-being and turned to see her. Prince Yi Kang gasped, his eyes wide with shock, as he looked into the room and cried out Ethel's name.